All right, so uh, I'm gonna analyze and present the last snowman the best I can, the best to the best of the abilities I can do. So I'm gonna talk about. I'm first gonna go over the introduction of the writer and the genre and the title and stuff. Then I'm gonna do a short summary, and then I'm gonna get to the analyzing part. Uh, so to introduce this poem, first of all, the genre is poems. Funny enough, the title is Last Snowman. It was made by Simon Armitage and released in 2017 along another his collection of other poems. Um, uh, some basic information about Simon is he didn't actually study English literature. He actually didn't really use any form of he wasn't taught basically how to write poems. He just kind of figured it out himself, and he tells himself that he comes from a background about a background where he didn't feel like he was the chosen one for this in particular, but yeah, he did it, and that's kind of it. A short summary of the poem. It's about a snowman. Um, you can call it drifting in the Arctic uh, as it melts or he melts. So to analyze the structure of the poem, there are 9 stanzas, and the stanzas are comprised of 3 lines each. Um, so it's 3 lines per stanza, and there isn't any rhyme or alliteration or assonance in this poem. Um, so the effect of not having this structure that we normally see in poems, it gives off a kind of chaotic vibe, like he wants to show, because the poems are about uh, uh, natural disasters in the future because of climate change. So it makes sense that his poems are also kind of all over the place. Also, we do have parentheses in the text, which I kind of feel are pretty abrupt. They come out of the blue, and it kind of doesn't feel right with the poem, but it also makes sense for the type of poem he's trying to uh, show, or he's trying to write. Um, there isn't any form of actions words that sound like actions in this, so it's kind of hollow, you can say, which also kind of makes sense with the theme, which I'm gonna go on to later. The text does use a lot of imagery and uh, yeah, just a lot of imagery, like weeping lime green tears and uh, a red woolen scarf trailed in the meltwater drool. It kind of describes the snowman as a living person or a living thing, um, which is it's, oh, how do you say it? It's sad. And what does the snowman symbolize? Well, it symbolizes something broken, something falling apart, something that's getting destroyed, which kind of overall is the theme of the poem, because of the climate change destruction is destroying the snowman and the whole theme about climate change. And the stag and hen parties kind of symbolize the humans as reckless and ignorant, also kind of a bad not influence, a bad got a bad rap in the poem that is not described in a very good way. Also, the language of the text, I would say it's a mix of both modern and archaic. He uses some words that are modern, like camera, but he also uses some older words like vigorous. You don't really hear young people say vigorous. And the atmosphere of the poem is it evokes this feeling of dread, sadness, and pain, and you kind of get this sympathy for the snowman because he's melting and people just kind of pointing and laughing at it. And the theme of the poem, I think, is it's some form of climate change, but also there's a message behind it of some kind of ignorance. That's the best I can really describe it. So, yeah, that's kind of my presentation.